Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. My name is Pedro Paulino and we're going to talk about Elixir choosing the right tool today. But before we get started, let's just give a huge shout for our friends at Curiosum. So if you need help with your application, you can check their work at curiosum.com. So we're going to talk about Elixir and especially my experiences with this language. And before we get started, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Pedro Paulino. I'm a Brazilian guy living in Paraná State in Brazil, in a city called Maringá. I've been working in IT industry since 2009, 13 years already. Started as support technician, but currently I'm a software developer working mostly with front-end development, and I have maybe too many side projects. Some of them with Ruby, some of them with Node.js, some of them with Elixir and Phoenix, which is the topic we are going to talk about today. So let's start with this topic called why choose this new technology? Because, well, at least in Brazil, Elixir is not a mainstream language. In the city that I'm living today, many companies still work with Delphi. Probably you guys know the language Delphi, and Clipper, COBOL, and other languages like Progress, which is like a native language, and some of you guys may not heard about. But if you're looking for someone who really use Elixir, you may have a better chance of success looking in bigger cities like São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro. There are companies and colleges in Brazil today which are offering the Elixir courses, or at least introducing the Elixir language in their curriculum, which personally I think it's a great idea because, well, Elixir was developed by a Brazilian guy, and it makes a lot of sense that Brazilian colleges and institutions use this language as their base for teaching programming for people. Well, the very first time I heard about Elixir was somewhere between 2015 and 2016. By that time, I didn't know the language was developed by a Brazilian guy, which really made my mind blow at the time because, well, you couldn't heard, or at least I didn't heard about someone who was a Brazilian and had developed a programming language before. And I talked with some people and they say, well, actually it is true, this language was developed by a Brazilian. His name is José Valim, and he's also the CEO of a very famous company called Plataforma Tech, which was acquired by a huge Brazilian fintech called Nubank at 2020. And that was actually the thing that really made me check into the language itself. There was this functional language based on Erlang VM, developed by a Brazilian guy, which at the time I think he was living in Poland. So, well, let me take a little time and check this language. So let's see what the language is all about. And so the very first thing I did at the time was creating a Docker environment so I could play with a little bit with this language and learn about what this language was all about. A lot of companies in Germany were already using Elixir at the time. Some companies in Brazil were starting to use this language, I think a company called Pipefy in Curitiba was, kind of playing with the language some years ago. Now I think they are working with this language in production too, because well, most companies in Brazil that started with Ruby or Ruby plus any stack or Rails or Sinatra, something like that, they ended up migrating to Elixir because it's a have the Elixir has a similar syntax to Ruby, and you can, if you have a lot of Ruby on Rails developers or Ruby developers, it makes sense to use this language because it has a similar syntax. It's almost like an overpowered Ruby, which is a great language to work with multiple CPUs and stuff like that. But I since I created this environment, I've been playing with some side projects, especially with Elixir and Phoenix. I tried Elixir with some other frameworks, tried Erlang web frameworks, which one I think was called Chicago Boss at the time. I don't know if it's still in development, but it was a cool framework to play with. Very hard to put it together, but when I really tried Elixir in Phoenix, I thought with myself, oh, there may be now that this is a good combination for what I'm looking for in my stack. So some of the issues that I had with previous languages like Ruby and working only with Node.js based stacks, it was working as a solo software developer. I had some issues working with a development pipeline, so I had to develop a working pipeline, which this pipeline started in UX design and ended up in code. So the best thing I did at the time was, let me write down some of the issues that I have today, some of the issues that the languages that I'm using are currently bringing into my environment, and let me write down some language that can help me with my pain points. And since I already had played actually a very little time with Elixir, I thought with myself, well, maybe this language can help me streamline my design operation from Figma to my backend with some some easiness, let's say. So while working with my side project, which you guys can check on my LinkedIn, it's called Shimom. It's a food servicing app. I decided that I really needed a framework that could help me streamline this process, which you guys are seeing right now. So my UX process started at Figma. I had a little handoff with Zeppelin. I grabbed some code and in Phoenix framework with live view made everything shine together, because well, right now I'm a sole developer. I need some and I don't like to use the word scalability like without any any issue, but seeing this process and how Elixir and Phoenix fitted very well into this process was was really revealing for me. A little actually I need to add a little point here, because Zeppelin will not only generate the HTML5 for me, but also the CSS tree. And these two components that came from my design process are already attached to my Phoenix Live View framework. And by using Phoenix and Elixir, I could, let's just say, come from prototype to production faster. I tried this same UX process flow with another languages and frameworks, but they only work if you have, let's just say, a bigger team. Like you could add Node.js here and Express, for example, in this place instead of Phoenix, but I didn't like the result. Phoenix Live View really brings up the best of my UX process through the production environment in a very easy way. I don't have to worry about too much JavaScript. I don't have to worry about pixel perfect design. Whatever I get into from Zeppelin, I get into Live View, and that's it. I have my page working, which makes it easier for me to A/B test my pages, my components, in which are developed in Figma, and well, I can create a better user experience from using this workflow. And Phoenix and Elixir, of course, are also big players into my experience, because well, I'm creating a food service app which focus on people's experiences with food services. So I really need a tech background that really helps me deliver that experience and streamline this process in an easier way. So this was kind of a short and small presentation, but some of the points that I could add to this presentation were how Phoenix and Elixir, they were a very great choice for the MVP and all the tests and the playgrounds that I had with my application. And they were very easy to work with. I had created a small Docker environment to use with this stack, so you guys can just see how fast Elixir and Phoenix boot up into my machine, which is kind of a Node laptop. That's it. I'm just booting up Elixir in Phoenix from a pretty old notebook inside Docker. It's very machine friendly. It's very easy to use. It was just the perfect choice for me to get started with this application. Since I'm working solo and in this application, soon I will be able to release more news and updates about the development on this project. I hope to release this solution somewhere between January and March 2023. And if you guys want to learn more about it, you can check out my LinkedIn. We can make another call or something like that. But I really hope you guys had a glimpse from this small talk while we were discovering about Elixir, discovering about Phoenix. And feel free to reach me at my LinkedIn. Sorry for the English language, it's not my first language. And sorry also because I am recording this presentation. Most companies in Brazil are working in person again, and of course mine too. So I talked to Renata, which is the person I have to give a huge shout and thank her a lot for the solution of recording the presentation, so you guys can watch and we can discuss more about Elixir and Phoenix and Erlang VM technology related stuff. And feel free to reach me anytime. You guys can find my LinkedIn, and let's keep coding. Cheers guys, thank you for your time. Bye bye.